How's it going, YouTube? Prisco YGO here, coming at you with another deck profile. So, I know you guys already seen my Tri-Brigade Zeus Diac, whatever the fuck you want to call it, deck profile. I forgot what I named it, to be honest. And, yes, it is the same day that I'm recording this video, but you will be seeing this a day later, which is why I'm wearing the same clothes. But it is way later in the day. Actually, technically the next day, because it's 12:30 in the morning, but I decided that I need to do another deck profile, and since I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, I might as well go ahead and bang the video out and put this out there for you guys to see. So by the time this video is live, so will I be live. I will be live on Twitch by the time you guys are seeing this, so I hope you guys are able to make it. Twitch.tv/PriscoYGO. You'll be seeing the little thingy pop up on the screen like right now anyway. And anyways, today I'm showing you Should All Invoke. I think I already said that. If I didn't, this is Tri-Brigade's hardest matchup. At least that's what I said in the deck profile before. So I might as well just go ahead and show you the video, or show you the deck profile. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So I've got the deck right here in front of me. We're just gonna go ahead and get right into this thing. So we're starting off with normal summon Alistair the Invoker. Normal summon it, search for invocation, and win. And hey, if you are a really good player and you got ashed on invocation, you probably had it anyway in your hand, so it doesn't really matter. This card is we've been normal summoning Alistair since I don't even know how many years ago, but this card is, you know, it's not hard to play this deck very well, and that's why it performs at such a high level. Now, going into the actual Shaddoll monsters, we are playing 3 copies of Shaddoll Squamata. This is probably your bestest boy in the deck because he has a flip effect that when he flips, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it, right? But he also has the effect that when he's sent to the graveyard, you can go ahead and just send any Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, including spells and traps. So if you really just need a spell in your grave so that you can add off of Construct later, go ahead and send it off of this boy right here. It's really good, and that's why we play 3 of him. We are also playing 3 copies of Re-Shaddoll Wendy. I'm so happy that she got printed because this card's really nuts. Like, pretty much her flip effect and her send to grave effect are essentially the same. They get to she allows you to special summon a Shaddoll monster from the deck to the field in face up or face down defense position. So this can get you access to Beast, it can get you access to Dragon, it can get you access to Aerial, even Genius if you really need it. And like I said, I don't have Genius, but I decided to go ahead and share the deck profile anyway, and I'll show you since Genius is probably going to be a 1, maybe a 2 of. I'll show you what I would change out later in the profile. So we are also playing 2 copies of Shaddoll Squamata. This card, or not Squamata, sorry, Hedgehog. This is the other one of your best cards in the deck, which is why we play 2 of it. It can, when you flip it, you can go ahead and add any Shaddoll card, any Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So your Schisms, your Shaddoll Fusion, your El Shaddoll Fusion. Imagine if Sinister Shadow Games had Shaddoll in its name. That'd be nuts. But we're not playing that card, unfortunately. We are playing the invoked version, which is less reliant on the traps and more reliant on the spells and the fusion summoning mechanic. This one also has an effect that when it's sent to graveyard by a card effect, you can just add any Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. So it's really good, and that's why we play 2. Now for our 1-ofs, we're playing 1 Aerial, 1 Dragon, and 1 Beast. This is for your draw power. He also has a flip effect that when you flip him, you can draw 2, discard 1, which will trigger any of your Shaddoll cards, by the way, if you send any of the cards from your hand or discard one of the cards from your hand. This card is literally just your spot removal. This card can actually just, when it's sent to grave, destroy 1 spell or trap on the field, and then if it's flipped, you can target 1 card on the field and just send it back to hand. This card, on the other hand, when this card is flipped, you can special summon a banished Shaddoll card. Really good. When it's sent to graveyard, you can banish 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard. You target 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard and banish them. That comes up quite a bit. Moving into the hand traps, we are playing 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. A lot of people are saying play Nibiru. Personally, I think Lancia is just a lot better, because it interacts with your opponents, with a lot of your opponents' decks, you know, nowadays. So you've got decks like Dragon Link, decks like Shaddoll Invoke and Tri Brigade, which really want to banish cards, and dropping this on them really hurts those decks. Alternatively, you could play cards like Droll and Lockbird. The other reason why I'm playing this is because it's a light target that I can set off with Shaddoll Fusion going second. That way I can have access to Construct. Now, we are also playing 3 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. This card is just really good. It allows you to fix your hand, especially going second, which this deck has a good going second matchup against most of the decks right now. So being able to just plop this down, have protection from targeting, and then fix your hand if you happen to have bricked, but you opened this boy, you're pretty much chilling. On top of all of that, he's a pretty big body, so he can get over some problematic cards. Not all of them. He can't get over like a Dragoon or anything like that, but he's definitely really strong anyway. Moving on into the spells, we are playing 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. 3 more copies of Alistair. Not really much else I can say. This card also makes it so your opponent can't respond to the effects of your opponent can't activate cards or effects on like a fusion summon, if I'm wording that correctly. This card's in Italian, so I don't have the actual wording in front of me, but pretty much it just says that your opponent can't respond to your fusion summons. And the cards and effects that would fusion summon a monster can't be negated, or at least their activations can't. So you can drop something like an Ash on a Shaddoll fusion, but you can't like Solemn Judgment the activation of an invocation per se. Still a really good card. And then just our 4th copy of Magical Meltdown. I should have put that out there before. For the rest of the spells, we are playing 2 copies of Invocation. This is what you're searching off of Alistair. Really good card. Not once per turn, and then just recycles Alistair back into your hand. What more can you really ask for? 2 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion. I know I'm playing commons, don't yell at me. This card's really good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I like setting this card and being able to have that extra fusion summon on your opponent's turn, especially when you go first. Having access to this card is just really nuts. And then, like I said, you can dump these off of Squamata, off of Construct, or whatever, just so you can get them into your hand very easily. We're also playing 2 copies of regular Shaddoll Fusion. Now, this card can send from deck to grave if you're going second, which makes it really strong. And it's probably one of the best Ash bait cards in the game, because if your opponent doesn't negate this, you're going to gain so much advantage off of what you send that it's just kind of unfair. So I know that's a little exaggerative, but where's the lie? 3 copies of Super Poly. I know, again, commons, please don't yell at me. This card's really good, it's really strong, and I think that if you're not playing this card in this deck, you're 100% wrong. You're probably an idiot. Sorry for the insult, but it's true. This card's insane. It literally says your opponent can't do anything about what I'm doing on the field right now. It says, hey, those 2 monsters, just give me them. Put them in your graveyard, and I'm gonna summon a big boy. Like, that's what you're doing. That's essentially what you're doing with this card. So it literally just tells your opponent to go fuck themselves. And I love that. Next, we are playing 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Called by the Grave, and 1 Monster Reborn for our 1-of spells. This is literally just utility. This is so that you can make sure that you actually can get to your invocation when you normal summon your Alistair. This card can dump any Shaddoll into the graveyard, so if you really just need a specific card, you can go ahead and do that and pretty much just make sure you get their effect off of this. And then Monster Reborn is going to be just pretty versatile anyway, because this is going to allow you to play through hand traps as well as just get those big boss monsters that are in the graveyard back onto the field, which does help. Moving on into the traps. Now, this one's an interesting choice because I'm not playing the rest of the Dogmatica engine. I'm not playing Ecclesia or Nadirs or anything like that, but I am playing 3 copies of Dogmatica Punishment. And I'll tell you why. If you go first, and you're able to get this card onto the field. Now, maybe you can play an Ecclesia just so that you can have access to searching it, but I don't think it's necessary, especially since this card's dirt cheap and all the rest of the engine is really expensive. So for the budget players out there, you can just grab this card for a couple of bucks, and then you should still be able to have access to some really, really powerful plays. So yes, you lock yourself out of the extra deck until the end of your next turn, which is fine. Most of the time after you've already set up your initial board going first, this card is literally just destruction. It's like a twin twister for monsters, essentially. Being able to send whatever you need for whatever you just, you know, need in your extra deck into the graveyard so that you can pop a card, and then potentially sending an Enta so you can pop something else is really strong. Now, no matter what, yes, locking yourself out of the extra deck is very, very bad. However, we're playing cards like Shaddoll Schism, which just allow us to fusion summon on our opponent's turn anyway, as well as like cards like Super Poly and cards like El Shaddoll Fusion. So we're not exactly like summoning from the extra deck too much during your turn anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And then our 41st card, I should say, is Shaddoll Incarnation, just because it's another name. It can help you do some pretty cheeky things with Aerial and Construct, and that's pretty much it for the 41 card main deck. Going into the extra deck here, we are playing 3 copies of El Shaddoll Construct. Card's really good, card's really busted. I remember when this card went to 1 back in the day, and no, I'm sorry, got banned and then got put to 1, then got let off to 3. There was actually quite a lot that I missed in between, but I remember when she got banned back in the day, this was heartbreaking because this is one of my favorite decks. And now she's not even the problematic card in the deck anymore. For the most part, it's this girl right here, El Shaddoll Winda. We are also playing 2 of these. So just for some context, Construct is a non-once per turn unsummon send from deck to grave for any Shaddoll card, and then also non-once per turn when it's sent to graveyard, adding any Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck, from your graveyard to your hand. So you can pretty much loop Construct quite a bit. Winda is pretty much your floodgate. You put this on the field, your opponents, a lot of decks just kind of scooping it up. They can't really play around this. Winda can't be popped or can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Let me stop saying pop because it's not the right term. But Winda can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. On top of that, you're locked into only special summoning once per turn. Now, yes, that hurts you as well, but again, we don't really care. like once we have this on the field, if they can't get over it, we're chilling. We're fine. Like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna put this, you know, plop right on the field, and we're good to go. Probably gonna scoop it. They're probably gonna scoop it up right there anyway. And then the last Shaddoll card is Apkalone. This card's non-targeting. Actually, I think it is targeting. Let me just double check myself. Is this card special summon? Target one face-up card in the field negates effects. Permanent negate, but so it does target, yes, but it's permanent negate. My bad. But however, this card also, when it goes to graveyard, allows you to add any Shaddoll card from your deck to your hand, and then discard a card, which means if you really just want that extra +1, you can add Beast, discard Beast, or you can add Schism or Shaddoll Incarnation or whatever the fuck you really want in your hand, and then just discard anything else that you don't need. This card's really good. The structure deck, I can see why it's so expensive now. It's got some real powerful heavy hitters in that $10 box. So that is it for the Shaddoll fusions. For the invoke stuff, we are playing 2 Makaba cards, really fucking good. You know, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can discard 1 card that is the same type of card as that card your opponent activated, spell, trap, monster, whatever, and then just negate the activation. If you do, banish that card. It's kind of nutty. It's also a really fucking big boy. Like, it's a 2500 attack monster. It takes a Alistair and a light monster, which isn't that hard to find nowadays anyway. Like, you're pretty much chilling if you put this on the board. You can actually make this before your 5th summon. So Nibiru, yeah, that's not happening, my dude. I'm just gonna negate it anyway. So there's that. For the other invoked fusion monsters, we're playing 1 Raijin. This is literally just for bird up. Because now you like with access to Raijin, you can go like normal summon Alistair, search for Super Poly, and then go activate or search for invocation. Sorry, activate Super Poly away the Alistair and the Simorg link. Right, make sure you do this the right way. Super Poly away the Alistair and the Smorg link, right? Make this boy use his effect to target the chicken nugget that they put on the field and flip that face down, because you couldn't have done that before. Also, you can't flip a Samorg face down, so like what's the point of doing that? But Raijin can flip the chicken nugget face down, which will then in turn allow you to just continue to play the way you want to play, and then now you have a quick effect Book of Moon on your opponent's turn, so that's pretty solid. And then the last fusion or invoked fusion is the one Algoides. Really versatile card, really good card, helps push for damage, helps clear the board. Card's really good. I don't see why you wouldn't be playing this in this deck. For the last two fusions, I am playing just one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I know, it's just a rare. Don't make fun of me. And one Entis just for that extra pop. But you already knew that I was playing this because I'm playing that card right there, which they go hand in hand. For the last couple of slots, we are playing just 3 Link monsters, 1 Gravity Controller for getting Construct out of the EMZ, and allowing you to just kind of add any, I had a brain fart, add any Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So you go like activate Shaddoll Fusion, make your Construct, right? Construct send, yada yada yada, link it off a Gravity Controller in the extra monster zone, and then now you have that second Construct effect that you can go ahead and use. We're playing 1 Artemis, which this card is really good because you can just normal summon Alistair, search for Invocation, link it off for this thing, then activate Shaddoll Fusion, right? Fusion summon away like a Squamata and like this thing in hand, make your Construct, and then you can just use this as Invocation material later on, so that you can have access to not only Construct, but as well as a Makaba because she's a light. It's a really good card. And last but not least is 1 Verde Anaconda. No, we're not playing Dragoon. This card is literally sends any fusion card besides Invocation from your deck to the graveyard so you can get its effect. On top of which, it has an effect that turns any card your opponent any monster your opponent controls into a dark monster. Like, come on. Yes, it targets. That's so sad. But like, who cares? You activate this thing, target something, make it dark, use its second effect, pay 2k, send a Super Poly, and now you have access to this boy, and you're just chilling, my dude. Like, what else do you want out of a card? It's really, really nutty. Going into the side deck, this is where some of the spice is coming in. Alright, so first off, we have 3 copies of Nib. You know, you can switch this out for Lancia if Lancia is not good in the matchup that you're going up against, going into like games 2 and 3. If Nibiru is that card that you really think should be in the main, go ahead and switch this card into Lancia, and you're still essentially accomplishing the same thing with this deck. Nibiru is really good, it's really powerful, it's a blowout card. I really think you should be playing it this format, and that's my 2 cents on it. Going into the spells, we are playing 3 Cosmic Cyclone. For generic back row removal. You don't really benefit off of a discard effect like Twin Twisters does, so there's no point in playing it in this deck. We are playing 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Really nutty, really good card, kind of just shuts your opponent down completely for a turn. What more can you ask for? For the other kind of spicy spell, I've seen somebody playing this in one of their Zodiac Eldritch lists, and I fell in love with it ever since. Mistaken Arrest is a card that is kind of slept on, in my opinion. It literally says until the end of your next turn. After this card dissolves, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. So like, most of the time, once our Invoked engine is online and once our Shaddoll engine is online, we don't really care about adding cards from our deck to our hand. We're just going to be drawing cards anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So like, a lot of cards, a lot of decks right now, especially Dragon Link, really like just adding cards from their deck to their hand. So if you don't have access to Draw on Lockbird, this is a super budget option that you can go into. Now, obviously, I do have Draw on Lockbird, as you've seen in some of my other deck profiles. But I decided to try something different with this, and I'm not going to lie, I really like how this card has been working out for me recently. And for our last 3 spots in the side deck, we've got a couple of one-ofs. 1 Pankratops because it's absolutely nutty. I really think that this card is highly slept on, and I'm not gonna lie, it probably shouldn't be at 1. I think it deserves to be at 3, but that's just my opinion. Pankratops at 3 is kind of crazy, but we'll see what happens when we get that next ban list. One copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. You probably should have seen that coming already. This is just an insane card, by the way. Play the gold rare because it somehow likes being in people's hands a lot more. You can ask my friend Hubbernot, who's a frequent on my Twitch streams. There was one instance where I top decked Harpy's Feather Duster 5 games in a row against him, and he wasn't a happy camper. And then the final card we're playing is one Red Reboot, and this is literally just for our Eldritch matchup, which kind of is one of our hardest matchups because we don't really care for back row, but at the same time is like that deck also doesn't care about a window, which makes that one of the more grindier decks to play against. So it's like a game of like rock paper scissors, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this deck, right, Shaddoll Invoked has a hard time against Eldritch. Eldritch has a hard time against Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade has a hard time against this deck, and it's then you come full circle. So that is pretty much it for the deck profile today. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you like what you saw, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you ding that notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload videos. Also, check out my Twitch. The link is in the description below. I'll also post that thing that I posted earlier in the video right here so that you guys can see the little sparklies that happen when I do it. But again, guys, it's late. I'm probably going to go to sleep. Again, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you stay hydrated. I love you all. Deuces.